So it's June 18th, 2018 at 5:44 in the morning. I had 7 hours, 12 minutes sleep, and I'm going to drink my gross juice and then some postum to time travel. That was my pepper. I don't mix it into the gross juice. I just take it on the spoon. Find it easier. I don't know. But I've tried taking the turmeric that way, and unless you get the root and mince it up, if you do that, then you can take that on the spoon. But if you use the powder, it's better this way. And the powder's cheaper, so you're probably going to use the powder. That. Oh boy. Yeah. It's not that bad. It's not like I'm suffering from PTSD or something after taking turmeric juice. It's doable. Yep, time travel worked. It's I may have mentioned that this postum, I'm not sure if it was best before 2002 or 2009, because I always get confused about which is the year and which is the day of expiration. So I don't know. But it still tastes the same. It's just harder to chip out of the jar. It doesn't, you can't scoop it. It's a solid block now. Oh. I should take you to the garden to show you where I've put the pepper stuff. I did some. I put the pepper out. Yes. Kind of a mess down here. I didn't judge for this when I put the. See, I was measuring out how many pots I could have on the deck, but the tomato plant has grown outside of, like, beyond the pot. I'm going to take my coffee too. So now the gate hits it because it's humongous. It's almost as tall as me. And I didn't think my tomatoes were going to do too well, but anyway. There's my pots that I still haven't gotten replanted, and a lot of them are dying because I'm not getting to them. I'll have to dip out the water. Don't go too much in there. There we go. See, that one's dead. Anyway, that's that. See, I told you it's strawberry season now. I'll have to get those later before somebody walking by does. And then I told you the poppies are blooming, but they got rained on, so now they don't look quite so happy. And they're coming to their end. But this little guy isn't. He's just starting. But he's one that he shouldn't be here. I put him here to keep his roots wet, and he's just stayed here, but I don't actually think he should be there. But that's where he is, so that I guess that's where he should be. Whew. Put that down for a minute. I've got stuff in my hair now. Now I'm a mess. Oh well. That tree, I should do something with it. Well, anyway, here's one of my gloves from the hot pepper guck. I'll put it in the garbage later wearing other gloves. I'm scared to touch it. I've gotten that hot pepper on me before, and wow, it is hot. So, I replanted as many of my irises as I found dug up. See, there's a poop right there. So, because they were digging, the cats. And I put some hot pepper wherever they were digging. And I'm hoping they don't just dig here. If they do, then I'm going to get out the pepper juice. See, I had to replant him. And so I put hot pepper around him. I had to replant over here. Put hot pepper around that. So I should put some down here maybe, because it looks like they've started getting after that. But anyway, so that's what and then I put some, the cats were also in the peat bales where I knew they would be, by the driveway there. Well, I'll show you. So anyway, this is, and I have a mushroom there after this rain. That's nice. So yeah, if I were in the mountains, I bet you I'd be finding lovely mushrooms. There's a poop that's fallen outside of what they see as their litter boxes, but I was actually trying to grow seedlings in here. Stupid me. Why I would think I would get away with that in my yard is. Anyway, as I went and I harvested seeds from, like, look at how much poop. Can you see how much? It's just like, why are they even continuing to use this as a litter box? Because it's so full now. It can't be pleasurable for them to be digging in that any longer. Anyway, what I'd done is I'd collected a bunch of seeds from shrubs and whatever trees and stuff that I wanted, right? So I had different things like Canadian plum and some hardy pears of different kinds, and I don't know if they were going to grow, and different things anyway that I had come across, locally grown things, and I'd saved the fruit, and some of them I needed to scarify, and so this was like a wet, cold stratification period for them. I was thinking, stupidly, like I should have put, I don't know, something over them. Netting or something. I don't know. That might have worked. Anyway. And, well, I also put some winged burning bush in here, in one of the trays. I'd mapped it out, and it's written on the bottoms of them, which is funny, right? Because I'd have to look at the bottoms to know. But, anyway, I don't know if some of these are actual seedlings that I want. Probably not, because they look pretty numerous. So it's probably just stuff that has fallen off the trees, you see, like on top there. So I don't know. I don't think my plan here was a success at all. Now I just have to clean it up. But there are some that I'll look at some of the things that try not to step on any poop outside the boxes. Some of the things that look a little bit different in their leaf, like that guy. And I'll think, well, maybe I should grow that on, you know, and see what it is. Because if I can't recognize it right now, and I should be able to, given whatever has just fallen in by accident would just be from my trees, and shrubs, which are right here, for the most part. So I should be able to recognize them, right? If I don't, then there's something different in there. Anyway, so I guess that's all that is really interesting to show you in the garden. I didn't bother to put the hot pepper there because, well, that project is obviously not going to pan out for me. So maybe next year, go around, I'll collect more fruit of different trees, and so that I can put the seeds in. And I don't know. And some of the harder things, well, you gotta scarify them, or they won't do anything for you. Sometimes you can use a nutcracker and just take that whole hard outside right off of there. But anyway, oh, I can show you something. See, my little Schubert. Now, I do have a little bit of weeding to do in here. But most of this is mint. It's ginger mint. I love it. It was one plant. And when I put it in, I was like, do I really want the ginger mint here? Well, when you're putting mint in, you better be quite sure that, yes, that's where you want it, because that's where it's going to be, and it's going to take right over. But I love this stuff. I use it for my kombucha, and it's the best. Anyway. But any mint is good, and you can put ginger in, and it's good. But anyway, so this is my little Schubert that I transplanted. Now I have a couple others. You can see a couple other beside, and I'll move those guys. But you can see the new leaves come out green, but they darken up right away this time of year. But when they're in the spring, it comes up and it just looks like a green little tree. But I know what it is because I put it there. So I know that it's not a green little tree. It's going to turn purple. And it'll stay that way in the summer. And I'm not going to try to convince it to be a tree. It's going to be, as it wants to be, a large, uncontrolled kind of shrub. And it'll block out the view of the garden a little bit from right here. But I don't look at the garden from right here, so I'm fine with that. So that's it. Oh, I can show you my peat bales because they're very exciting. See, there's a tree I have to weed out, and it's terrible because I didn't catch it in the spring, and now it's going to be, I'm going to have to prune it out. That's terrible because it'll just keep coming back, and I'll keep having to prune it out. And there's some weeds I have to weed, and a rose bush. Now this is a Betty Boop, and when I planted my yard at first, it had been just like the person who had it before, it was a parking lot, so it was like really hard packed gravel, and I didn't want it to be a parking lot anymore, so I dug it up. And first what I did was, we rented a bobcat and we dug it up and put in some topsoil, which I suspect was compost, but that's great because it grew really well, and my garden's really happy. So anyway, I put a whole wall of roses because where I was working, they were throwing them all out. They'd use them as an annual crop. It had been given to them. and they were throwing out all their roses. And so I was one of the ones who was digging up the roses to be thrown out, and I asked if I could have some, and yes I could. And so I took enough that I could do this whole all along my property. So I planted roses all along here, and but people kept driving on them because I didn't have the wall built by at that point, because I didn't realize people would just keep driving right in my yard even with a row of roses there. That was really disappointing, a learning experience. So I realized then, well, people are jerks, and I put up a cement wall. So I got some forms, and I put in rebar and tied that together with those fun little spinny things that you stick the little metal loops in. And anyway, it all seems fun when you don't do that every day. I'm sure the people who put rebar together every day thinks, oh, this is not fun. But that spinny thing is awfully fun for somebody who doesn't. Anyway, so I put that in, but my only rose that lived was Betty Boop. Somehow it kept getting run over, and it kept surviving until I got the wall up. So I didn't think it would live, honestly. So I put the wall in. I put little junipers here to cover up the wall because I don't like the look of the cement wall. And it worked. Covered up the wall. You can't see it's here. But believe me, if some truck hits it, it's not going anywhere because the rebar is down quite deep. I made sure this wall's here to stay. So, and I had a local cement company come and dump the cement in because, well, I've done stuff like that myself, and it takes a lot of work mixing up that much cement, and so I certainly didn't want to mix it up myself. So I called somebody in, and they dumped it, and that was great. Anyway, now what I should do is cut down those tops of the tulips because they look terrible. I'll get to it when I'm weeding. But anyway, so this is my garden. So far this tomato's looking okay. Oh, look at that. Some flower buds already. It's eager to get started. And, well, I guess I have to put something in those pots because they died. Pepper plant's doing okay. And there's that stuff that looks sort of like dandelion, only lighter, and I haven't had the inclination to try it yet, but I will. So I have quite a bit of it, and it's bolting, so now it's going to taste terrible. I may as well juice it. I stuck the strawberry plant in there because I'd accidentally weeded it up, and I didn't really have anywhere to put it, so that's where it went. And this is some interesting green I've never eaten before, but I've planted it here, and hopefully I can collect some seeds from it and keep planting it if I like it. And I'm training these, see how he's going up the wall? Training these squash to go up the wall. So I have to come out every day now and make sure that they're not doing, see? He's trying to escape. I want him up the wall. So I have to move him up the wall because I don't want him coming out here. They'll all want to come out here, you know, but up the wall is where I want them. And it's easy to train them up the wall. So I just have to get on it. See, because I had a few rain days and they're trying to escape on me. So I have to get after them. So that's what I'll be doing this morning, is getting these guys up the wall again. So that guy's looking a little chlorotic. Pale mustn't be doing too well. And I have some beans that are going up the wall too. And well, you can see this guy's getting strangled a little bit by them. But that's alright. He'll be fine. He's doing great. He's taller than me now. And these tomatoes were not supposed to live. Well, I didn't. You see, they can. But I put them in April 28th. And I really didn't think they would live, yet they did. So now they are here, which is fine. I just didn't plan on doing any tomatoes in these bales this year because I was so disappointed by events last year. And you can see my things are overcrowded. But once I get the squash back where they belong, see, then these guys will have a little more light, because these squash, they'll just cover everything over, take over. I can't let them do that. Some kale. I have some more kale that I planted at the end of the driveway, which is where I put the other pepper juice. But my bales are doing quite well, and I'll be able to collect some seeds from these things.